I've not been holding my breath for a breakthrough in terms of ceasefire since May, in the sense that in May, on the one hand, the situation for the Palestinians in Gaza was desperate, and on the other hand, the pressure from the families of the hostages had reached an untenable point from a political perspective. So the government had to respond to the families, and so it seemed to me that there was enough pressure from the Gaza perspective and the support from the international community for a ceasefire, including the US administration, that eventually didn't veto a Security Council resolution. And internally, I thought that there was a convergence of pressure. But it seems that nothing is enough to persuade Netanyahu not to obstruct the ceasefire, because it's pretty clear that the gatekeeper is him. So I do not see how this new development in the occupied Golan Heights could change Netanyahu's mindset. And it's incredible at the same time that one man is holding hostage the fate of so many people, including in his own country.
Gazans continue to be killed in so-called humanitarian zones. UNRWA says only 14% of the Gaza Strip is not under Israeli military evacuation orders, so nowhere can be considered safe. But where are the people moving to?
For those who are watching this interview and are not familiar with the Gaza Strip, there's never been any place safe in Gaza, even before the 7th of October, because Israel, through the drone system, has always had a very tight control over the Gaza Strip. And of course, now with the infantry and with the disaster that the IDF has caused in Gaza, it's even more evident. But the point is that for 10 months, the population has been moved really like puppets from one place to another. And now the situation is so desperate because there has not been for a long time enough water, no food, not enough food, no safe haven of any type, and even schools and hospitals have been bombed. It's a disaster. So it is to stop. There is no limit to human horror, and this is what we are seeing. But of course, there is no way this can continue without, again, aggravating the responsibility not just for Netanyahu and his work cabinet and its government, but for Israel as a state, because people inside Israel are not opposing massively as they should what's happening in Gaza.
We spoke to a recently returned doctor yesterday. He spoke of the death and injury from the attacks, but also the disease and malnutrition there. A recent report of yours has detailed the famine that has taken hold. What have you found?
We have based ourselves, I've worked on this statement with other special rapporteurs, and particularly there is the special rapporteur on the right to food, who has been monitoring the level of hunger, the fact that there has been a famine already in various areas of the Gaza Strip for a long time, and the level of malnutrition that is evident from the statistics regarding children. Children are, of course, the first victims when there is a lack of food, lack of proper hydration, etc. And so we have based ourselves on data provided by both doctors and scientists to analyze the data, and the fact that the availability of food that enters through the humanitarian convoy, this livelihood in Gaza has been destroyed. There is no self-sufficiency anymore. There was not before the 7th of October, but because there were 500 trucks entering each day, and it was enough to ensure the survival of many. There were people doing well in Gaza, of course, but the majority of the people were at the bare minimum of nutrition level, and this was calculated. Now, of course, the situation is spiraling out of control.
The International Court of Justice issued an advisory ruling this month that Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories is unlawful. Now, Australia has reacted by sanctioning a number of Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank and introducing penalties for illegal acts against Palestinians. What do you make of the Albanese government's response?
It's a good step, but the point is that here the relations have to be reviewed in accordance with the ICJ advisory opinion at the state level. Let's take the case of Russia. Of course, it's very positive to impose sanctions on groups that are affiliated with a government and a state that is committing atrocious and egregious international law violations. But what about the state itself? It seems that among Western countries, and Australia is not an exception, there is a sort of fear to take any measure against Israel, which has made Israel above and also against international law. So yes, it's a good start, but it's very mild and it's very ineffective because, again, the settlers are part of the problem, but the enterprise to maintain, establish the settlement and let impunity reign in the occupied Palestinian territory is attributable and engineered by the state of Israel. It's the state the issue here.